By the time I was 28, I created my first $1 million in net income. In this episode, I'm going to share with you the strategies, primarily the story of how I did it and all of the businesses that I started along the way. And then I'm going to go into some of the lessons that I've learned at the end of this episode. I have the specific lessons that you can take and apply to go support you on creating wealth in your life. My name is Skylar Lewis, and this is the Christian Business Mentor Podcast. Let's dive in. So I grew up in a town called Hemet, and I lived on the poorer side of town. So I grew up in a 700 square foot mobile home, a little tin box actually. And this mobile home, it was a one bedroom. So my sister and me and my mom all slept in the same room. I mean, many times I slept on the couch in the living room, but we had a one bedroom place. And so I remember thinking and dreaming like, man, I want to create success. I want to find a way to get out of this house. I want to find a way to get out of this city. I want to go be successful. And so I had an underlying aim early on to create success, which I later found out was partially ineffective because my aim was off. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to be significant. I wanted to prove that I could be successful versus doing it for the right reasons, which I'll talk about later. And so my first business that I started many, but one of the first ones that I did was starting a candy business. I used to work at Smart & Final. That was my second job. And at Smart & Final, it was a wholesale place where you could sell groceries for restaurants. And so they sold candy at wholesale prices and bars and Little Debbie cakes and all kinds of stuff. And so I got the idea one day and I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to start selling candy at school. So I bought a duffel bag, bought a bunch of Little Debbie cupcakes, a lot of other candy, and I started selling each day right before lunch, right when people were hungry. I would sell the candy to all my classmates. And so I started to create some success, but I wasn't able to sell enough to really produce what I was looking to produce. And so I ended up recruiting a bunch of other kids inside of my school. I got a bunch of duffel bags, loaded them up with candy, and then I would hand the duffel bags to the kids in the morning before school. And then they would sell their candy, and then they would give me the split of my proceeds. And so I had these other kids that were actually selling candy for me at school. And this was one of my first lessons that I learned on the power of leverage. And what's great with leverage and utilizing team members to support the bigger mission, the bigger goal, is that you can help other people provide for themselves while you're also providing for yourself. It's a win-win. However, many entrepreneurs, they struggle with leverage. They struggle with the idea of learning how to grow and how to scale with team members. However, this was one of my first lessons early on when I was 16. So I started multiple other companies right out. And I wouldn't say companies, they're little startups. So I actually bought a spray tanning whole machine and started doing spray tanning. I started doing car audio systems, website design. I mean, I was doing everything I could as an entrepreneur. And I got some of this entrepreneur blood from my uncle. My uncle had ATM machines. He had pay phones, right? Remember, you used to put the quarters in those pay phones. So he had a lot of those things that were producing cash flow for him every day, which was pretty neat. I hope you're enjoying this video. I'm the founder of Rise Up Kings, the largest faith-based personal development organization in the country. And it's our mission to reach as many people as possible to help them live lives of excellence, all to glorify God. We do this through our content that you're watching now. We do this through our seminars. So if you're enjoying this, please subscribe and share. Let's get back to the video. And so right when I turned 18, though, I'm like, you know what? I want to go bigger. While all my buddies were out partying on a regular basis, I was studying for my real estate exam. So I got my real estate license right when I graduated high school and turned 18. And so I had studied for that, got the real estate license, and I practiced real estate for a year. Guess how many houses I sold? Zero houses, baby. That's what I'm talking about. But I learned a lot. And that was one of my first experiences with mentorship. So what I realized is that as an ambitious kid, there were people that were interested in mentoring me. Through that 1 year, I had multiple mentors of people that were walking alongside me to support me on my success. And I realized not a lot of people want to buy a house from an 18-year-old kid, and that may be my own limiting belief. However, I found it to be very difficult. So I ended up getting into loans, started doing some mortgages, and eventually failed on the mortgage side also. I ended up doing a couple mortgages, but I got into something that I never thought I would get into, which was gambling. When I was, I believe, 22, I got into gambling. For 6 months straight, I went to the casino every single day to play blackjack. So I figured that I could beat the odds and make money doing the easy thing. I was kind of always looking for the easiest path to build wealth now that I look back on it. And the easiest path is not always the best path. Many times it's the hard paths that can really refine and produce the most results inside of us as a human being. Because the goal is not to just create success, right? The goal is to become somebody better on the journey of creating success. So it's not what you accumulate, it's who you become on this journey. And so I was gambling, man, literally every single day. So I kept a profit and loss on my phone, and I would keep track of every day what I made or what I lost. And I did this for 6 months thinking I could beat the odds, ended up not being able to be very successful. So I quit after 6 months, and I ended up losing, I think, about $1,000 was what it came out to. So not too bad for 6 months. Then I'm like, hey, what's the other easy thing I could do? So I got into stock trading. I used a bunch of credit cards to go fund some of my stock trading accounts, and then I started stock trading for 6 months. I did stocks, I did options, and I did foreign currency. And so I was trading currency, I was trading options, and so did the same thing. Ended up not being able to produce minimal results, and so moved on from that. I met Jessica around this time, and I was figuring out, like, what do I need to do, man? Stock trading's not working, gambling's not working, these other little businesses I'm starting are working. So we were driving, me and Jessica, who is now my wife, and I was driving in her nice BMW. She had her own condo. She was much more successful than I was. And I said, hey, babe, so here's the deal. I can either go get a job or I can borrow $1,000 from you. Because I had done loans, and I knew there was a marketing channel, mailers that I could send out that I was confident would produce results. Not 100% confident, but pretty confident. So I said, here's the deal. I can get a job, but if you're willing to lend me $1,000, I'm going to go start this thing. I'm going to buy $1,000 worth of mailers. And so luckily she was willing to lend me $1,000. And I later found out that she had told herself if she ever had to lend another guy or a man money, she would never be with that guy. So I lucked out. She stayed with me, borrowed $1,000, and I spent $1,000 on mailers for, I would say, my first real entrepreneurship, my first real business. And so I spent $1,000. I bought 1,000 mailers, sent them out, and ended up closing one deal. That one deal netted me about $2,000. I used that $2,000. I bought $2,000 more worth of mailers, and then I closed a couple more deals, and I ended up scaling and doubling down for the next 6 months, which got us to where we were spending about $25,000 a month in mailers and generating about a significant amount of money in revenue. And I eventually hired our first person. I brought on one guy I remember the art of leverage. And so I brought on one guy and trained him how to do it. He ended up being able to sell and to create some results. Hired another guy, hired a third guy, fourth guy, fifth guy, sixth guy. We were up to almost 20 team members. Me and Jessica were doing this together. By the time I was 23, we had about 20 team members, and we were doing a little over $1.5 million in revenue from that business. And so some of the lessons that I had applied in that business, I had learned early on. I forgot to mention that I had joined a direct sales, a network marketing company early on. So I learned how to sell. I learned how to market. I learned the power of systems and processes. And so through that, I applied those systems and processes in that business, which allowed me to scale. And so by the time I was 23, I made over $1 million in revenue, but not over $1 million in net income. And so we ended up selling that business. It got a little crazy, Wild West, and we didn't want to be a part of that anymore. So we sold the business. We were living in San Diego. We moved back to Temecula, and we launched a carpet cleaning business. My dad had been in the carpet cleaning industry, so I bought so I said, hey, Dad, I'd love to do carpet cleaning. I know how to do marketing really well. I can go blow up marketing and probably be one of the larger carpet cleaning companies, I believed. And so we bought a carpet cleaning van. And so me and Jessica, we started doing door-to-door knocking. We literally knocked door to door to door with those little carpet cleaning flyers, and we sold carpet cleaning jobs. And we eventually got busy enough. I mean, we were doing the work. We were doing all the carpet cleaning. We started doing window cleaning. We started doing house cleaning, just whatever it took to make it happen and to make sure the business was successful. Proverbs 10:4 states, a slack hand creates poverty, but the hand of the diligent creates riches. And so, man, we were willing to put in the work and to grind it out to create in this business, to create results in the business and to not fail. Actually, an interesting statistic is more than 70% of business owners that start a second company after their first one has been successful fail in their second venture. So more than 70%. And what's interesting about that and what that shows is many times most people are unwilling to do what they did in the beginning for their first company. They're unwilling to do that in the next company, right? Once you've built some success, have some money, you may not be willing to clean houses and to door knock, right? And so being willing to continue to grind it out, even if it's your second or your third, fourth, fifth business, is really important. And so we started scaling the carpet cleaning company. So we started doing door-to-door flyers. I eventually got into marketing, internet marketing very quickly. We bought a van, hired a second van, hired a couple people, bought a third van, and then bought a fourth van. And within 2 years, we were one of the larger carpet cleaning companies in Temecula. I had over, I believe, 8 to 10 team members. A good lesson here is we ended up seeing that, hey, we could make good money in carpet cleaning, but man, the margins weren't fantastic. So we learned that there was another industry, the restoration industry, which closely tied to carpet cleaning. And so we started doing these water damage jobs and these restoration jobs, which started to have much larger margins. And so what I tell my clients when I'm coaching them is, hey, follow the money, right? Where is the money? Where are your highest margins? Go focus marketing on that and really grow that specific margin. So what we did was we got into the restoration and we started scaling that. And we grew that within the next 2 years. We grew that to a $4 million company. And so 4 years total from the start of our carpet cleaning company to the start or to being 2 years and hitting 4 million in the restoration company. And so as we were scaling that, another lesson that I learned is we want to double down on marketing. So if you find a good marketing channel, double down on the marketing channel. If you find out that internet marketing is the way in your business and you're creating success and there's good margins there, focus on that. Don't start doing mailers and don't start doing all of these other things. Double down on the channel. Still diversify partially, but really double down on the channel that's working the best for you. Don't incrementally grow it, like double down on it. So we doubled down and our internet marketing was generating most of our business for the restoration company. I remember Jessica, she called me into the office. It was December of 2014. I was 27 at the time. And so she called me into the office and she said, hey, Skylar, take a look at our QuickBooks. And so I took a look at the QuickBooks. She had just finished reconciling and finalizing the P&L all the way up until mid-December. And it had showed that we had netted $1.4 million in net income. And that was more money than we had made in the previous 4 years combined, all in 1 year. And so I remember thinking like, man, I've hit my goals. I hit my goal. I wanted to produce over $1 million in net income. And what was interesting is I got an instant gut check and it didn't give me the high that I was looking for. Actually, it sent me into kind of a funk and a little bit of a depression because I didn't know what was next. Many times we search after these goals. However, achieving the goal isn't going to get you what you think it's going to get you. That's what actually started my journey of personal development because I realized that I was doing all this to kind of prove myself. And now that I had proved myself, what now? And so I remember the term, you're either growing or you're dying. So I went on a journey of personal development. I kind of pulled back from the business a little bit and I started focusing on getting clarity around my why, my aim, and really making sure I was doing it for a good purpose, right? For God versus for myself. So the next few years, I made my new commitment, not only to grow Superior Restoration, which was the company that it was called now, but was to build it in a way where I wasn't owned by the business. Because up until that point, man, I had to spend a lot of time in the business. And so I started to implement systems and processes, the right team, the leadership team, goal setting, all of this stuff. And pretty soon I was able to get myself down to 2 days a week. Then I got to 1 day a week. Then we eventually moved to Texas and then ran the business remote. And so there are so many lessons along the way. And we actually started Rise Up Kings and built this into a pretty substantial organization. But I want to share with you now the lessons that I learned along the way. So I had made my first $1 million in gross revenue, and then I had made my first $1 million in net income by the time I was 27. And so I want to make sure you're clear. The aim in life isn't to go make a bunch of money. The aim in life is to live a life that glorifies God, is to be in relationship with people, is to expand God's kingdom, is to live out the Great Commission, right? That's our mission. And it's great to make money along the way. And so again, make sure your aim is clear. The aim isn't to make $1 million. And if you do desire to make $1 million, why? What is your aim? And so your aim in achieving $1 million net income really, really matters. And so let's dive into some of the lessons that I've learned along this whole process that will hopefully serve you in reaching some of your goals in business and in life. So start with lesson number 1, the most important lesson, which is put God first. Have your aim, have it for the right reason. So if you want to grow your company, if you desire to grow your business, if you desire to make more money, do it with God as your primary driver, not to have the cool things. The Bible many times talks about selfish ambition. Where you have selfish ambition, you will find envy and every evil practice. So with selfish ambition, which is your own ambition, comes evil. And so we want to make sure our ambition's for Christ and that we're building it to glorify Him, not for our own glory. Number 2 is mastering marketing. So this is something that has been pretty important and pivotal to all the companies that I've started, is getting really good at marketing. So yes, go spend time learning your industry and how to be skillful in your industry, but also go learn marketing, go master marketing, become the best at marketing that you possibly can. It's one of the best skill sets that you can have in business. So number 2, and these are in no appropriate order except the first one, but number 2 is master marketing. Get freaking good at marketing, because when you become good at marketing, you can go market in any business and be successful in it. Number 3 is master sales, right? So yes, you got marketing down, but if you don't know how to sell, you're going to really struggle. So get good at learning sales, not used car salesman strategy, but hey, how do you become masterful at consultative selling? How do you walk alongside somebody to find the right product or the right service for them? How can you sell in a way where somebody feels good after buying your product? And you got to make sure your product is excellent and your service is excellent, but man, master sales, like get really good at influencing somebody to do what is in the best interest for them. And this is where sales go wrong. If you're selling something that's not in their best interest, you're going to feel bad and you're not going to be as good. So make sure you believe truly in what you are selling. Number 4 is hustle. Hustle. So be willing to grind. Get rid of your TV. Get rid of the news. Get rid of social media if that's causing you to struggle. Hustle and grind. So in the beginning, many startups are in businesses. Like if you're not making the income that you need to for your family, it's time to freaking start grinding. Literally, get rid of your TV. Shut off cable. Shut off streaming services. Whatever it takes to build wealth. Not sacrificing your family. You didn't hear me say that, right? Don't sacrifice your family. However, there's a lot of other things that you can sacrifice to help get you to the place where you have more financial freedom in your life. Number 5 is family focus. Making sure that you're focused on the family. We talk about the 4 pillars in Rise Up Kings: faith, family, fitness, and finances. Family is number 2. You have God, you have faith, and then you have your family. So willing to focus and invest on a regular basis while you're building your wealth. I was talking to a coaching client the other day, and he said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to focus on my business. The kids are young, so I'm going to really focus on the business. They won't see me as much for the next 3, 4, 5 years, but then I'm going to get the business to a place where it's successful, and then I can spend more time with them. I said, wrong answer. That is not how you do it. You can do both. You can grind it out in business and you can still be incredibly intentional with your family. So you can grind it while being intentional. So I want to challenge you. If you have that either or mentality, I want you to switch it to an and mentality. You can build your business and man, you can still love on your family and fill their cups up. Number 6 is hire people as quickly as you can, meaning the sooner that you can hire somebody in your team, the more results, the more leverage you can produce. If you're just doing it yourself, if you're a solopreneur right now, if you're focused on producing results with just you, find a way to bring in enough sales to hire another and another and another person. It will allow you to scale, to grow quicker, and also to produce more results. So some of you on this point are probably thinking, well, hey, I don't have enough money, or I don't want to spend the money on bringing on a new team member. And that's a lot of people's thoughts. However, that can come from more of a scarcity mindset. So you want to find a way to make it an investment. In hiring a team member is not a cost. It's not an expense. It's an investment into your business. And when you invest with investments, right, there's appreciation many times. And so you have an opportunity to produce a lot more results with that investment into your business. So team members are very valuable, not only because they help grow the business, but it's great running alongside people and having and working on a vision together with other people. Number 7 is train well. I see so many entrepreneurs, they'll hire somebody, but man, they don't properly train that guy. So they're delegating, but they are doing it in a way where they're just handing it off. It's abdication versus delegation. So they're handing it off, and this guy's not fully trained. There's not systems in place to not only train them, but to check in to see how their work is being done. So make it a priority to train well when you bring people on board. That's the number one reason. I'd say maybe the number 2 reason. Number 1 reason why team members fail within an organization and don't work out is your hiring process. You didn't properly hire them and you didn't match them to the core values. I cover all this stuff in my book, The 2-Day CEO. And so, yeah, their hiring process is off, or it's not even built out, right? You don't have specific interview questions. You don't have specific responsibilities that you're hiring to, like you're doing 1 interview instead of 3 or 4 interviews. You don't have personality assessments. Like you don't have everything necessary to properly hire the right person. But the second reason is you're not training properly. So spend time. You might have to spend the next 90 days, even as the CEO, you might have to spend the next 90 days training a key team member in your business. But it is the best time that you can spend. If you don't spend that time training them, they're going to flounder and they're going to fail. So train your team properly. Number 8 is double down. We talked about this earlier, but double down on marketing that's working. Double down on marketing that's working, but also double down on products or services that are working. If you have a service that gives you great margin, produces great results for clients, and you like doing it, double down on that versus launching a new product or launching a new service. We get caught up in it too at Rise Up Kings. We're so good at a lot of different stuff related to events and personal development and faith-based personal development. So we want to go launch all kinds of different events. And we have to narrow back in, get back to simplification, and focus on our core strengths and our core events that produce the most results. Number 9 is build processes that allow you to scale. So while I was getting to this, $1 million in net income, I had to build processes. I was focused on marketing. I was focused on sales heavily. And I was really focused on building processes that allowed me to scale. That's what McDonald's has done really well. It's what some of the best franchises have done well. They build processes which make the business easier to run instead of making it a complex business. So what you want to do is you want to simplify your business so you can turn the specific thing into a process, and then you go duplicate that process to be able to scale. So that is the recipe for scaling: is simplification, documentation, and then duplication. Number 10 is seek mentorship and guidance. Don't do it all on your own. A lot of my experience, a lot of my knowledge has come from mentorship. I remember we brought on a coach early on in Superior Restoration. We were paying the guy $8,000 a month. It was a massive amount of money. A great guy. And dude, that one coach completely transformed the way our business worked. Now, you don't need to go pay for a coach. You don't need to even pay for a mentor. There's paid mentorship programs, which can be even more valuable. Go find a mentor. Go ask a successful business guy to go to lunch. Go ask a successful business guy to go to dinner, or a pastor if you're looking to develop your faith. Go get mentorship from people, again, whether paid or whether free, but mentorship is the way that you could avoid the unnecessary speed bumps and the unnecessary cliffs that are always in business. Right. And so the way to collapse time frames and to produce more results in a shorter period of time is through some type of mentorship, and not just knowledge. There's a ton of knowledge out there. There's a ton of learning and education that you can get. What is a mentor? A mentor is somebody that has been there and has done it before. So what's a coach? A coach is somebody that is helping you come up with the answers. They dig in. They're kind of guiding you. A consultant is somebody that has the knowledge and they give you the knowledge. Hey, go execute on this. Go do this. A coach is helping to help pull out and extract the knowledge from you that you can go execute on yourself. And then what is a mentor? A mentor is somebody that has been to the mountaintop. A mentor is somebody that has already done it. They're not a mentor if they haven't done it. And so you want to go find mentors that have actually done what you are looking to do. So I hope you found this video valuable. There's a lot of nuggets, a lot of stuff in here. Make sure that, you don't go execute on 15 different things. If there was a nugget, one nugget that you got out of this, take that one nugget and go execute on it. Where people tend to fail is they'll get overwhelmed, take a bunch of notes, and then they never go execute. So go take the one nugget, the one that's most impactful, or the two, and then go put together a plan, put it on your calendar, put together a plan to go execute on those specific things to help you get to the next level. And if you are a Christian man and you are looking to level up, do something hard, and really reach your maximum potential, Rise Up Kings is that mentorship program. It's the #1 faith-based personal development organization in the country, specifically working with men, and then my wife works with their wives. And so you can check us out on riseupkings.com or on any of our social platforms. So it's my outcome in these videos and with this mentorship is that you are producing the maximum results that you can in your life, all for the glory of God. And not just maximum results in business, but man, I want your marriage to be on fire. I want your faith to be on fire. All right, I want you to be physically healthy. And so remember that you can live a life of success or you can live a life of significance. Let's do it for God.